This is the all-new Honda Civic, which may not be immediately obvious pagdating sa kanyang exterior design. But trust me when I say this all-new model, at least in my first impressions, is one of the best Civics ever. So sa kanyang exterior design, Honda went towards the conservative route when designing the all-new Civic. Actually, nung una ko to nakita sa pictures, akala ko the car would look bland. But in person, I actually like it now as much as the previous generation model. The lines are now cleaner, wala ka masyadong fake vents going on in this car, and I also like its elongated hood. And then pagdating sa kanyang exterior and interior equipment, the Philippine market Civic is actually more superior compared to the Thai version. For instance, itong V variant na ito is actually the Honda Civic RS in Thailand in terms of looks, because they both get the same 17-inch alloy wheel design. Pero pagdating naman sa Philippine market Civic RS variant, our Civic is actually on par with the Honda Civic SI in the North American market because of its matte black 18-inch alloy wheels, subtle black rear spoiler. Oh, and tingnan nyo nga pala kung anong klaseng tires ang gamit ng Civic RS natin. Yep, this car is riding on freaking Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires, which are really grippy pagdating sa kanyang handling. And it's also the OEM tire of a number of performance cars. Kaya makikita nyo mamaya sa ating handling test that the Civic RS is definitely no joke. Nevertheless, as far as redesigns go, the all-new Honda Civic doesn't look too different compared to the previous generation model. But please hold your comments until you see the car in person, because the all-new Civic actually looks good. Though one thing I'm sure we can all agree on is that the interior of the all-new Honda Civic is a huge step up over the previous generation model.
So now that we're here inside the all-new Honda Civic, and wow, I really think that the all-new Civic's interior is talagang a premium and beautifully crafted place to be in, no? So let's start with the honeycomb vents ng kanyang aircon, no? Kung maririnig nyo, meron siyang clickiness na parang yung what you would find in a Bentley or a Mercedes-Benz C and E and S class. Sobrang clicky nung mga surfaces niya, sobrang tactile. Kahit ano nga, ang ganda ng tunog niya. Talagang it's really a premium knob. Ang ganda ng pakiramdam niya. Apart from that, ang isa pang maganda sa interior na to is we tend to dislike piano black plastic since they easily scratch. And in this interior, sobrang minimal niya lang. And that's one thing that even Honda realized, no? With the interior of the new Civic. Even they realized na the piano blacks would tend to smudge easily and scratch easily. So rather than using those materials, kung makita niyo yung sa kanang door panels tsaka doon sa center console, you have this parang ribbed gray pattern, no? So not only does it feel nice, ang ganda rin ng kanyang premium feel, no? So hindi siya yung nag-i-scratch and all. It's very intelligent for Honda to use this kind of material sa kanyang, you know, yung mga commonly touched surfaces sa kotse nito. It's really a nice place to be in, and talagang Honda's really done a good job with the interior. And that leads me to the car's infotainment system. It works really well. It's very slick. Ang responsive ng mga touch inputs niya. And meron ka nung ledge dito where you can place your hand while operating the touchscreen so hindi kayo ngalay. And it's easy for you to tap the menus habang umaalog yung kotse. And at the same time, you also have wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto, no? So in conjunction with the wireless charger, no? So you really don't have to use any cables na to hook up your smartphone sa kotse nito to have smartphone mirroring, which is really good for the Honda Civic. And then lastly, you also have a digital gauge cluster, a fully digital gauge cluster pagdating dito sa Honda Civic RS variant na itong inuupuan natin ngayon. The display is really nice, it's really crisp, and the functionality is really great, no? So it's highly configurable. pwedeng Apple CarPlay naka-display, pwedeng yung mga driver assistance system mo and techno. And it's basically, ang maganda sa kanya, you have this car in the middle. Kapag nakabukas yung Honda Sensing mo, yung parang yung sa mga Tesla siya, na kapag nagda-drive ka, the gauge cluster will recognize yung mga lane markings, yung mga kotse sa paligid niya. It's basically like the digital gauges sa mga Tesla. It's very interactive and it really shows you how the Honda Sensing safety features are able to sense the vehicle and its surroundings. Really nice. It's a well-done interior. And lastly, the Honda Civic also has a 12-speaker in this RS variant at least. It has a 12-speaker Bose sound system and the sound quality is great. It's almost on par, if not on the same level as the all-new Mazda 3. It's really that good. As a matter of fact, the interior, the premium feel is really almost on par with the all-new Mazda 3. So well done, Honda, in developing a premium interior. Manufacturers take note, this is how you should do an interior. Follow Honda and Mazda's footsteps in designing a car interior.
Trunk space for the Honda Civic ranges from 495 liters to 497 liters, which weirdly enough is actually smaller than the previous generation model's trunk space. Because for this time around, Honda prioritized rear seat space. Though in the first place, the Honda Civic always had one of the best rear seat spaces in the class. And this model takes it a step further. The Civic's leg and headroom are both class leading. And as a matter of fact, halos kabantay na niya ang mga mid-size executive sedans. Rear aircon vents come as standard on all but the base S variant, while the RS gets dual zone climate control, power adjustable driver's seat, along with combination suede and leather seats. For this new generation Civic, only the 1.5-liter VTEC turbo engine is being offered, and it gets a healthy boost of power and torque for this all-new generation model. Only one transmission choice is available, and that's a CVT, but a good one at that. So, how does the all-new Civic feel like on the road? Or rather, sa loob ng test track ng Honda Cars Philippines?
So as for the driving experience, no, so let's take the Honda Civic through a spin sa kanyang test track, and you know, for sure in terms of acceleration, this is gonna be a blast pagdating sa hatak niya. So now, it performs really well. Maganda yung ano niya. Maganda acceleration niya. Ang ganda ng hatak niya. It's actually, I think, stronger. No, then we're gonna be entering through a bit of corners. Strong acceleration. I like the engine. The CVT does the ratios well, and kung makita niyo yung handling niya, wow sa handling. The steering is still sharp as ever. Ang super responsive ng steering niya. I'm wiggling the wheel ngayon, and grabe, ang ganda ng hatak nung engine, and the steering feels sporty and sharp. It's really well done. Ang ganda nung pagkakagawa nung nung kanyang steering. Handling is really well calibrated. Now we're going through a bit of rough road, and it deals pretty well with bumps pa rin. That's been a Honda Civic hallmark. Maganda pa rin ang kanyang suspension. It manages to be able to counteract body roll, so it stays flat sa corners, and at the same time it still absorbs bumps really well. The chassis is rigid, so there's not much vibrations going on inside the car. It's a refined car basically. Road noise and wind noise is well kept to a minimum, but again, we're in a test track ng Honda dito, so we're not taking it at high speeds na parang highway speeds, no. So yeah, we really have to take this on a thorough drive pa rin, but first impressions are really good. The Civic performs really well on this test track ng Honda, and again, the steering sharp, refinement's good, the CVT performs well, and handling, let's go to these corners again. More corners. Solid performer. It's still one of the best compact sedans that you can buy, apart from the Mazda 3 in terms of handling and comfort and refinement, no? So okay, the Mazda 3 handles in a much more firm manner pagdating sa suspension, but it's not too bad. And in terms of ride, mas okay pa rin ang ride ng Honda Civic, I think, based on these first impressions. But yeah, this strong turbo engine performs really well. Ang ganda ng engine niya. And as before, kung maalala niyo yung aking review ng Honda Civic RS Turbo a few years back, ang ganda ng fuel economy figure niya. So I'm confident pa rin na, wait lang, let's go through these corners, wee! More corners, wee! Ang sharp ng steering. The steering's really sharp, I swear. It's really responsive. Sobrang ganda ng steering niya. Ang liksi niya, the front end changes directions really quickly. It's still a fun car to drive, no? And again, going back to the fuel economy nga, fuel economy is really good for the Civic pa rin, no? I am expecting that. And now that every single model sa turbo version, I expect the fuel economy to be really, really good. Because sa mga reviews ko dati, the Civic RS Turbo actually is more fuel efficient pa compared to the 1.8 liter non-turbo engine. So, I expect the Civic RS Turbo to perform really well on that regard.
Another game-changing move that Honda has done is that Honda Sensing is now offered as standard across all variants, which is a move we highly commend Honda for doing. This means you get automatic emergency braking, full speed radar cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keeping assist, automatic high beams, lead vehicle notification alert are now being offered on all variants, which is in contrast with other brands which offer these features only in the top-of-the-line variants. And then splurging for the Civic RS adds a lane watch camera, though para sa akin, I'd rather have a radar-based blind spot warning system. Yun nga lang, due to its standard turbo engine and Honda Sensing safety features, the Civic now starts at 1,290,000 pesos. Though in my opinion, it's a price increase that's very well worth it. We can't wait to take this out on a longer drive. Pero based on my first impressions, this really is one of the best Civics ever to come out. And it now sets the class standard in terms of power and safety features, all the while maintaining its practical aspects while still being fun to drive.